Dumelang, but Babantle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Hope Makola here, and boy, am I excited to have you guys back. And I'm being very intentional in uploading quite a few videos, and being consistent about it. So please don't forget to put on your subscribe, notification bell, and any comments you have, do comment down below. So let's get right into it. Today I just want to talk about how marriage life was for me, having been married in a cult. This is obviously off of the back of my previous video that I did about being married young in the message cult. And you could call this kind of like a part two, but it's just adding on to that. I did say, having had been married young, our first year of marriage, I'm going to break it down obviously in the years. We were married 5 years until he passed away in our 5th year. I will be doing a video about that as well, having been a widow at a young age. So the first year of marriage was very, very it was quite nice. The first year of marriage is normally quite nice. We were just so excited, and the fact that we didn't have we didn't date for long, so like I did say in my previous video, we met each other and were engaged after 3 months, and our engagement was just under a year. That was basically meeting somebody and literally marrying them almost the next day. So we then had a first year was great. We traveled a few places in Europe. We just really had a blast. But then there was just little things, like little things that we had been given the chance to actually be in what you'd call courtship, there'd be little red flags that he would have definitely, I know, picked up about me, and I would have picked up about him, and the fact that there is not even a space, that you don't even have the time to do that when you're in a cult. You don't have the time to even, when you feel scared, when you feel unsure, even if you ask your parents, it's just, it's basically, no, don't worry about it. Just keep on, So we just did our best that we could with the little that we knew and under the circumstances. It's just never so easy to at such a young age try, and now all of a sudden I was just a teenager just the other day. Now I'm moving into my own house. I've moved out of my parents' house, and now here I am having to be a wife to somebody. Guys, being a wife, in itself, there's such a level of maturity and wisdom and life experience that should go into it. So when you're young and you don't even know anything about it, you were never even given premarital counseling on how to handle certain things, how to learn to compartmentalize and not take things personally. So the first year there would be little things that I would notice. But that said, it's not that he was doing anything bad or I was doing anything bad. We were just never given this time and the space to actually even grow and enjoy our teens and be independent about that. So the reality is that we were doing and trying to experience life in the way we've been taught, or trying to do marriage in the way we've been told our expectations of marriage to be, i.e. the first one, obviously, being a woman in the message, everything has to revolve around your family, everything has to revolve around your husband. You have to die to your own desires and just serve this man, and as much as the whole thing of he's the head and you're the neck, but the reality is the head and the neck also have to be on the same page. The head and the neck have to have been given guidance on how to approach certain things, and we were going into it without any of this. So towards the end of the first year, things were kind of like, okay, I see that's what it is. Again, nothing around like just even sex in marriage. We were both virgins when we got married at the age of, well, engaged at the age of 19 and married about a good 11, 12 months later from there. So we were also very clueless in that department of things. Honeymoon night, it didn't happen. I think we waited a good 2 weeks, 3 weeks after honeymoon. That's obviously after marriage, for us to even try and consummate the marriage. I'm trying to pick words where YouTube is not gonna come for me and block my videos. So yeah, I'm gonna be highly censored, but I'm sure you guys can read between the lines. And we then obviously started warming up to certain things like when it's that time of the month for me, and I had to have those conversations. Guys, you don't understand. The reality is I had never lived with anybody. I moved straight out of home into being married and under our own place. Now all of a sudden it's no longer daddy and mommy. It's no longer my siblings, it's me and my husband, And now, even thinking about it, it's quite daunting. I'm just thinking, if my daughter had to marry that young and had to just move out of home and have to learn so many things. By that time as well, at 19, guys, 19, early 20s, you don't know so much about yourself. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure out what this thing called life even is to you. And then you have to also try to think of what this thing called marriage and being a wife also is. So yeah, it's it was never going to be easy. It honestly never was going to be easy. But also being in a cult didn't make it any easier. So there'd be things like, babe, you shouldn't be dressed like that. What will people at church say? That would be him directing something to me, and I would say, well, you shouldn't be hanging out with those people. What would people at church say? So we were never really speaking about us in the relationship. It was always about the cult that we were raised in, that we would have to shape our behavior and everything about us towards that. So that in itself made marriage very, very difficult. Leading into 2 years and a half, it really, I could start seeing that, oh my gosh, is this the kind of guy he is? Again, guys, don't forget, again, I am judging him based on what I was told. A message brother, a married message brother should be, and how they should conduct themselves. So it's not like the things he was doing really bothered me. It was more about, hang on, that bothers me from the cult perspective of things. It doesn't bother me per se about you, but it bothers me from the perspective of having been told that you cannot be surrounding yourself with worldly friends. You cannot be going out clubbing. You cannot be, we could not even have a television in our home. Trust and believe. Oh, that was the first thing. I remember the first thing we were like, what is the biggest television set we're going to buy for ourselves? Because we were not allowed to watch TV. We were not raised with a television in our households. More so him. My household, y'all guys know. Let's be honest. People that go to Mamelodi Assembly, not only Mamelodi Assembly, actually, all the other message assemblies in South Africa. And again, guys, when I say in South Africa, I'm not saying that all churches in South Africa are cults. I had a comment from somebody in my previous video saying that I mustn't say South Africa. But obviously they are saying it in the context that they didn't understand, or either look at the whole video or just took the word South Africa and ran with it. When I say South Africa, it's normally linked to talking about the message churches or the message branches throughout South Africa, not talking about Christians in South Africa. Just wanting to put that out there. So the funniest part was obviously that we went out and we got a TV set and we were super excited. But at the same time, there's a heavy condemnation. There's a heavy feeling of being condemned that comes with having gotten a television set. Do you understand? Like it's stupid small little things like that can actually make you think, hang on, so having a television set, having a television set in my home going to hinder in who God is to me or what God says of me, or even me not going to heaven, or like, so God is just going to judge me based on a television set in my home. And like most of the time, actually not even most of the time, 90% of the time, when you actually go to message households, a lot of them would have the sticker. I know you guys have seen it. Those that come from my era of being in the message will know. They'll have the sticker on their television set that is written, only a monitor, not a TV. I mean, really, the fact that you have to put out that disclaimer, guys, we all know that if you buy a TV set, you have to have a SABC license to get the TV set. You're not just going to get a TV set and then you're not going to be able to play channels on it because you have the words printed and stuck on with press stick. That this is a monitor and only a monitor used for monitor purposes and not a TV. It is so sad that you have to put out such disclaimers, because we all know come 8 o'clock on that TV set, Yako, you are tuning into generations, okay? So please, and how you'd know this is, there's obviously a lot of people that would be talking about generation Dondoni, this, that, and the other. Anyway, so fast forward, now that I got that out of my system, like at the end of the day, guys, this is my channel, okay? I just want to say that as well. I will say whatever I choose to say, and I will speak my truth of what I've experienced and what I saw. If you obviously have experienced totally different, hey, kudos for you. You can comment down below as well and share your story. You're more than welcome to. But hey, be nice, play nice. I do not tolerate any rudeness. I do not tolerate name calling. I do not tolerate people that are not just going to be kind, in whatever you say. So yeah, fast forward, we are now into 2.5 years of marriage, and I can see certain things are coming through now. Things are not easy. We are not communicating anymore completely, because our focal point of communicating as well would either be based on the people we're hanging around with, which at the time was message couples around, who got married around the same time that we did. And we're all kind of like trying to get advice from each other. I remember we used to have these sessions. It was so funny. We'd meet up at each other's houses and we would kind of like literally vent, which is a great thing to do. We still do it now, but the nice thing is about now, it's less judgmental. The sessions that we used to have then, you could literally see that people are judging you. I remember once, literally one or two of the sisters, that's what we'd call each other, sisters and brothers. One of the sisters said to me, oh, yeah, no, Hope is quite flirtatious, with our husbands. I was like, excuse me, guys, I'm very confident. I'm very sure in myself. And honey, I am beautiful. I am what I say I am, and I am what he says of me to be. So like that whole thing, I felt it didn't make me feel uncomfortable, because number one, darling, there's nothing I need to flirt with, number one. Number two, I was very happy with my husband at the time, so there was no need to do that. But all I'm trying to show you is, like, even friends in those circles was always very carnal. You were always judged about how you either dressed or how this one like carries himself out more. People were never looking at you for the heart, you know. It was never your intentions or looking at you for what is in your heart. And that would always bug me, man. That would always bug me, the level of not being genuine. Anyway, moving forward to like third year we did kind of touch the subject of, do we want to get babies, do we want to get pregnant? I don't want to lie, guys. For the longest of times I was obviously saying, look babe, we were very, very like open about when we want to have kids, because we got married so young. We wanted to obviously put that to, yeah, maybe after 4 or 5 years of marriage, because we just wanted to enjoy each other first. We wanted to travel the world, which we did. We wanted to experience so many things, and we did do that. And the bulk of the time, guys, I don't want to lie, like I said, for me, at least when me and my late husband met and got married, we didn't fall in love with each other for being in the message cult. Yes, the message cult was the platform at which we met at, but we loved each other for who we were as individuals. I mean, I remember for the longest of times, he'd always say to me, you know, you're just so different from the other message sisters. I just love that you are yourself, you know, you are not competing with anyone. You are not boxed into a label of this is how a message sister should be and that's what you are. You just do you. And for me, what I really loved about him was like the level of, geez, he just loved everybody, guys. I mean, anybody that knew my late husband would know that he just was a people's person, had a big heart. I love that we had a lot of interests. He was a nerd like me. He was a bookworm like me. We loved traveling. We loved hanging out and just having fun and goofing around. We loved making new friends. So we were very social people, you know, very, very highly social people. And in a way, we were not the norm of what a message couple would look like, you know. So by look like, I mean like what you're supposed to promote a message couple to look like. Anyway, it was good. So then fast forward to the 4th year of marriage, things started getting quite a bit tough, quite a bit tricky in terms of us really like drifting apart. And guys, this is not easy. Sure. Just drifting apart in terms of so many things were just coming between us. Pressure from the church cult, or message cult. I don't want to say church cult per se, because a lot of churches out there are very, very good. So I don't want to use the word church loosely. I just want to, rather say the message cult. And we started just doing so well work-wise. Our careers were booming, skyrocketing. He was also doing very well at work, and mixed with the career and mixed with the cult and mixed with upbringing, there were certain things that, you know, he couldn't find a balance in. And our marriage really, really, really took a hard knock, and things started getting so emotionally difficult. And later on in our fourth year of marriage, we fell pregnant. I think it was, actually no, I think I was, let's see, Jan, Feb, March, April. December of 2008, I fell pregnant. We were so excited. We had already named our child already in the 3rd year of our marriage. And so we were planners. We really, really wanted our baby. It was not a mistake. None of my kids are. They were very much both planned. So we were pregnant in December. Year 4 was hell. He was hanging out with the wrong crowd, getting into alcohol and smoking. It was a hot mess. I was not coping. I was getting frustrated. I was just like constantly asking God, like, what is my purpose in all of this? One thing I'll tell you guys about this girl has always been Jesus' child. I've always loved the Lord, and I've never questioned who He is to me. But I think the most times where I'd always feel unsure was when I was in the cult, in the message cult, because what the message cult does, they link William Branham so closely to who God is. They kind of like make him and God one. So you feel like if you're not doing what William Branham tells you to do, then you're obviously not doing what God requires of you to do, which is not true, which is absolutely not true. I mean, God God is not God is not looking out for William Branham's best interests or even the cult of William Branham, but God is looking at you. God knows you and He sees you. And for me, that has always been what I held on to. Prayer was something that has always been what had gotten me through so many things in my marriage. And guys, hello, I'm not sugarcoating it. Marriage is not easy, so it's not like I had expectations of that, going into it, that it would be easy. No, I didn't have those kind of expectations. So we fell pregnant end of December 2008, in the midst of what I could say was the worst period of our marriage, because by that time me and him were really, really, literally, most probably standing by grace alone, constantly I would get frustrated with him. By that time he was not coming to church at all. He was not attending the message cult at all. And in hindsight, I was like, geez, what if he really called this message out quite a long time ago, and that was the struggles he was dealing with? And you know what, now that I've left the message, I realize that that's definitely what it was. I realize that he definitely would have not turned out to be that kind of individual. With what I know now, if I knew it then, that kind of individual, and he wouldn't have even made certain life choices the way he did if he was not raised in the message. And if we were not raised in the message, we wouldn't have made certain life decisions in our marriage the way we did if we were not raised in a cult, guys. That's just the reality of it. A cult kills your character because you are only held to one standard, that this is who you must be. A cult kills your confidence. A cult kills your sense of dreaming, your sense of passion and wonder. A cult restricts you from just even exploring the beauties of just even your marriage, just even loving sex. I had a lot of problems for a long time sexually in my marriage, in my first marriage, because I was not confident with my body. I was not confident with, satisfying my husband the way he wanted to be satisfied, because I was told that those kind of things we don't talk about, those kind of things are worldly. My relationship towards what sex would be was very much an act of, you don't do it for pleasure, you don't do it for enjoyment, because it's just for reproduction. So it wasn't easy. I mean, we'd always have fights with that kind of stuff. And I know that at the time, a lot of my friends, my friends in the message the ladies would also complain about the same thing, because it would be a thing of, we were never taught how to even, have topics about it, or how to even love our bodies and how to know how to pleasure ourselves. So, and guys, anybody knows, a man or a young man at the age of 20, even a young woman at the age of 20, your hormones are everywhere. You're like really like hot-blooded, if you want to call it that. You really like, and for me, it would be like, he would always say to me, it's so weird that you don't want to, like, what's up? What's the problem? What is stopping you in your mind? And I'd say to him, I don't know. I actually don't know what it is, because I mean, I'm attracted to you physically, you're attracted to me physically, but I just don't know what it is. You know, it would just be, it would feel kind of uncomfortable, like just even looking at him or him looking at me, or like just, I don't know, guys. It's just the way one would be raised to always be fully clothed, fully, like, we don't talk about boys, we don't have the discussion about, sex and marriage. So a lot of the things I had to learn on my own, and a lot of the things you could also see that he was also trying to get advice from outside. And guys, we all know advice from outside means that you are inviting bad things inside, you know. Anyway, so fell pregnant in December, in our 4th year of marriage, 2008. Then 2009, guys, 2009 was just a terrible year. 2009, fast forward 5 months into our pregnancy, he then passes away. So yeah, that in itself just really, really sucked. And I was alone. I was 25. Actually, I hadn't turned 25. I was still turning 25 in September. So I was basically 24, pregnant, and a widow. So yeah, guys, I'm going to leave the video there. And I'm just going to do a next video that will come up about being pregnant and a widow at a very young age. But thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for lending me your ears for me to interact with you guys. I know that my lighting kind of, it looks and feels a bit weird, but I hope that you guys got the gist of the message and that I'm trying to convey. And I really appreciate you guys. I love you very much. Bye. I'll see you in my next video.